Hello, f***ers, how are you? I enjoyed Martin's talk very much, very, very much. There's a particular piece I really liked. Did you spot it at the end? He did something really interesting. He talked about discovery and decisions, which are two things we normally have separate, yeah? You're normally asked to do one or the other. And in his instance, he just pushed them together with this beautiful word, and. It's a generous word. And I would say that's an example of what I call Bothism, yeah? Bothism is something I've been working on for more than 10 years. We're a strangely f***ed up discipline, yeah? Because we take the core concepts of marketing and often we separate them like they're a binary thing. And then we force you to choose between one or the other. Or even worse, we make them fight each other, yeah? When in fact, if we were to put them together, they would be more powerful than choosing one or the other, kind of like discovery and decision making. And the concept of Bothism, at least as I invented it, has two fathers. First of all, Scott Fitzgerald, the great 20th century author. You remember his definition of intelligence? Holding two oppositional ideas in your head at the same time and still being able to operate. But also Jim Collins. Jim Collins is the guy that wrote Good to Great, yeah? Which is quite a good book, yeah? And he looks at what makes those great companies special. And one of the things that makes great companies great, at least in Collins' perspective, is they reject what he calls the tyranny of the or. The tyranny of the or, choosing. And instead they embrace the generosity of the and. And that's really what Bothism means in marketing, yeah? It means putting them together. My official definition is the rare capacity to not only see the value of both sides of the marketing story, but actively consider and then co-opt them into any subsequent marketing endeavor in an appropriate mix. Because it doesn't have to be 50-50. It's not zero-sum and it's not 50-50. But it's putting the things together so you and your brands can be more successful. Let me give you a simple example. Excuse me. When you do a bit of market research, usually two types of person pop up. The first type wants to do more touchy-feely stuff, yeah? Shop-alongs and focus group and one-on-one stuff to really understand the real depth of the consumer. But then someone else pops up and they want you to do big quantitative surveys and marketing modeling and do a bit of econometrics and run the quant together and get some regression analysis going on a big sample. And usually there's a fight because, again, that's what we do in marketing. We fight. If you know anything about research design, the answer is always Bothism. You start with qualitative because it reveals the qualities, the things. And then you plug it into your quant so you can measure it from a representative sample and get the numbers and the big picture. Qual drives quant. And it's a perfect example of Bothism in practice. Let me give you a bigger one. The one that's been wasting all of your time for the last 10 years, right? When are we gonna ever get this one through, right? Brand versus performance, yeah? It's the same thing, yeah? Obviously, you're not gonna spend all your money on branding and miss out on the chance to drive sales at the end of the process. Equally obviously, you're not going to just do performance and chase immediate ROI without realizing that brand is the big, powerful catalyst for all of your performance stuff. But I say obvious, the data is very clear. Most of you are underinvesting in brand. Yeah? You're chasing too much ROI and you've missed the bigger point. If you work in financial services, it should be 70% or more on brand building. Even consumer marketing, it should be 60-odd%. And everyone challenges those numbers, but the numbers are pretty much locked in. It's pretty hard to argue against them. You need these two together in the right combination. And to explain why, let's put them on our board. Let's go to another great example. Let's look at the 95-5 rule. It's the most recent, I think, discovery in marketing from Professor John Dawes. I think it's one of the sexiest and coolest discoveries in many, many years in marketing. And all it says is something very simple. When Dawes looks at any market, why not yours? Whether it's B2B or B2C, what he observes approximately is a 95-5 split. 5% of your market are currently in market, searching, thinking, deciding, yeah? But the other 95%, they're in your market, but they're not in the market right now. I was thinking about people with haircuts, right? 5% of you right now need a haircut, right? Don't take it personally, yeah? But 95% of you don't, yeah? If I offered free haircuts outside later on, you'd all think, that's a bit odd. But also you would think, I don't need a haircut. You see what I mean? Companies that have just got insurance or booked a holiday or whatever it might be. And the 95-5 rule teaches us something extraordinarily important. It teaches us that, yes, you want to put your money here with performance. You want to go where the money is with targeted bottom of the funnel activation, because that's where the money is right now. But many of you are missing the bigger point. There's 19 times as many customers over here, not in market right now. And often it's too late to go for these guys when they're already about to buy. So what you need to do with the rest of your money is go after the whole market and predispose them with your brand, with salience, so when they come into the market, you've already got them. Because 70 to 80% of the time, the salient brand here is the one that gets bought over there, yeah? It's a fundamentally Bothist point. And it takes us to a key insight about targeting. We've been obsessed with this targeting debate now. And again, we've done the same stupid binary thing, right? On one end, we've got people that are pushing personalization, micro-targeting. Somewhere in the middle, we got segments and clusters. And over at this end, in the Ehrenberg Bass corner, we've got sophisticated mass marketing, target everyone. Again, it's a stupid binary discussion. It's obvious what you need to do. When you're doing brand building, when you're going after the 95%, sophisticated mass marketing is the only way to do it. Provided you've got the budget, and most of you do, build your brand to everyone in the category. But when it comes to activation and performance, then you need to target and then you need to activate. It's a perfect example of Bothism. We've got to put it on the board. The same comes down to funnels as well, right? Tofu or bofu. They're all part of the same funnel. And when we talk about this whole funnel, full funnel activity, all we're saying is fundamentally a Bothist point. Look at the top, look at the bottom, and probably if the numbers drive you that way, definitely do both. So we have to put tofu and bofu on our board as well. Hell, this company, this amazing company of Google, is a beautiful Bothist example, yeah? Is it YouTube or is it search? It's both. Why can't you build your house on two incredibly potent sources, which, as we've learned, 3/4 of the Dutch population are using every single day? Let's have both. Let's put it onto our board here. In fact, let's broaden it out. Let's also get rid of that other stupid binary, traditional versus digital, yeah? Whatever that means, yeah? In every piece of empirical data I've ever seen, if you cross those streams and apply Bothism, you get a better result. If you take some of your TV budget and you put it in to YouTube, you're going to get, most of the time, a much better response. Bothism works in media channels. We keep talking about diversity. It's great in terms of HR. It's even greater in terms of channel diversity, integration, synergy. And you know why? We should put that over there on the board, because I've always found this formula to be true. A times B is always greater than 2A, or greater than 2B. And A and B can be any two channels you want to name, any two. If you put those two channels together in a Bothist way, it will always outperform putting all of it on one or the other. Because we have diversity, 360 effects, media works well in a Bothist world. But too often, we choose one over the other, and we miss the key point. And now we have this new battle playing out with the Ds, the double D challenge. So many of you are old enough to remember the great Michael Porter, and during the 80s and 90s, we were told to differentiate, yeah? The secret of competitive advantage was finding a unique source of differentiation. And we took that during the 90s to an extreme place. We took it to a place where we said, if you don't differentiate, you will die, yeah? You will fucking die if you don't differentiate, right? That's how strong it was. Yeah, got to do it. Then, 10 years ago, along comes Professor Byron Sharp. Byron Sharp. The Dark Lord of penetration, yeah? So Byron Sharp turns up and says, no, I can't do the voice. No, you don't do that. You don't need differentiation isn't even possible. Certainly not ownable. What you need to do, in my other red book, is you need to make your brand distinctive, yeah? Distinctiveness is the more important D. You need salience for your brand. Now, he's right, yeah? There is no doubt that distinctiveness and salience is everyone in this room's number one objective. And if you don't understand that, you need to work it out because it's true. Salience über alles. It drives everything. But the problem I have with this is he's done it on the back of differentiation. Distinctiveness is what you need, not differentiation. It's the same old binary bullshit. I want to be greedy. I want you to be greedy. You need salience. You need distinctiveness. Your brand should come to mind in those buying situations. But then I want you to have some differentiation for the brand too. Not the unique stuff that Porter talks about. That's bullshit. There's nothing unique about your brand or anyone else's brand. Relative differentiation, 1 or 2 points of differentiation connected with distinctiveness is an incredibly powerful Bothist concept. The 2 Ds together, not against each other. And we've got a new one now, right? Everyone's talking about it. Is AI going to replace human marketers? Or are human marketers with their taste and their creativity actually always going to be superior to machines? There is an obvious Bothist answer, yeah? We are going to lose a significant part of our industry over the next 10 years. But the marketers who remain, and many will remain, will be smart, will be well-trained, they will know marketing, and they will use AI to service those marketing goals. It will be both. It will be human, and it will be AI together. It's an obvious Bothist prediction. And you can apply it to anything, to physics. Newtonian physics and relativity, better together than apart. We keep talking about Messi versus Ronaldo. Why? Put one on the right wing and put the other as a forward 10. You've got an amazing front. Well, they're too old now, but once upon a time, you'd have an amazing team together. I will have no more talk of Britney versus Christina. Put them together. It's a powerful thought. And I have to tell you, I will have none of this gin martini shit. I was in America last week. Gin martini my ass, right? I'm not drinking it, yeah? I'm also not drinking tonic for far more obvious reasons, right? Gin and tonic, yes? The English have taught the world very little, except perhaps for this one point. Gin and tonic. Together, they are more powerful. And why not? Let's go a little bit further. Feyenoord and Ajax. Together, yeah? No? Okay, maybe I've gone too far. Okay. Okay, sorry. Let me get another bullshit local example before I finish then, right? It's not the king, it's not the queen, yeah? It's the Koningshuis, baby. Together, yeah? You've got good-looking royal families. We don't in England, so I'm going to use your example, not mine. These are attractive people, you know what I'm saying? Together, Bothism works best. More serious point. You're here, which means a couple of things. Your company has a decent advertising budget, or Google wouldn't invite you. And you are a decision maker of some importance. That means you will get attacked with this binary bullshit. You must choose, yeah? You must choose between qual and quant, or brand and performance, or digital versus traditional. The industry will try and make you choose. It will try and separate your thinking. Don't fall for it. Be smarter than that. Bring the paths back together. Be the marketer that says, I choose to put these two together to do a more Bothist approach. Because 2 things together are better than 1. Thank you very much.